everybody, it is Christina at Scrapcraft and Stitchery. Thank you so much for joining me here today. As you probably know, today I am working on hashtag 50 stack challenge. This is a challenge that is put on by Amy at Crafty Cat, and she does a fabulous job, and she's been hosting this. This is the 7th one, and she picks 2 prompts out of a paper bag every week and posts on Monday her version of the prompts as well as what the prompts are. And so the prompts that I'm working on right now are 21 and 22, and they are envelope and ticket. And I'm going to work on ticket first because I have an idea for ticket that I wanted to do with like a postage stamp, but I'm going to do with a ticket instead because I have this little tiny ticket of a stamp, as you can see, and I'm just going to stamp it in different colors. And I think this is kind of similar to what Amy did for postage stamp, although I think she used actual stamps as I recall this. But I've seen this work a couple of times, and for just doing this, I kind of want to get out my stamps and use the things that I have. So I am going to do this, and I'm going to stamp this tiny little ticket as a background, and then I think this is going to work. I think I can do this. It's going to take a bit of time and a bit of concentration, and I have all of these gorgeous stamp pads out, and you know, I just never get to use my things enough, so I'm super excited to be doing this. And I kind of practiced on this piece of tissue paper, so maybe I will pull this out. So yeah, Amy's been doing this for the 25-week challenge to make a piece of ephemera, and I'm making these 4x6 journaling cards, and I really am enjoying watching this process kind of play out, because this is my stack of journal cards so far, and I'll have a stack of 50 at the end. I chose to do this because anyway, I've talked about this before. I was doing a lot of journaling, and since I decided to do this challenge and to do some other challenges, I'm not journaling as much anymore. But it's really kind of fun because I can kind of see my pile getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And as it's getting bigger, I'm like, oh, well, what am I going to do with all these journal cards? Because some of these are really, really pretty and very cool, and I'm super excited about them. I want to go back and see if I can kind of pull some themes out of there and maybe make a journal out of the different cards, because what I need is more journals, because I just showed you, of course, that I'm already working in like 7 different journals. But I think making some themed journals out of these would be really kind of fun, and seeing if I could take, like, the first prompt is sticker, and I used my antiquarian sticker books, and I think it would be kind of fun. They're kind of all vintagey, and I have a bunch of them, right? I am trying to line this up without overlapping. Anyway, so I think that would be kind of a fun use of my journal cards. So I was thinking about going back through the prompts and just making different types of ephemera. Why waste a good prompt, right? I guess I'm ready to change. I should keep that. I think doing some random ones here is kind of a cool thing. Did I ever do think that's the next one in this color series. I have I don't know. I need to sit down and maybe make some sort of a list of projects I want to work on next year. I kind of sort of started to do that. Oh yes. Okay. Concentrating. So I'm laying these kind of like bricks. So each ticket is kind of offset with every other ticket. Okay. There we go. Hey! Don't do that. The cats are up there in the window fighting, and little girl is just having a time of it, I have to say. Oops, that one was way off. I like how this is coming out, and you know what? I'm gonna come and zoom in on this, so hold on. I really like this. I think this is okay. So I really like how this is coming out so far, and I'm just gonna do 2 rows until I run out of colors, I suppose. I might go after pink, I think orange, and then yellow. I don't have an orange. I guess I could find an orange. I do have an orange. I don't have an orange out on my desk, and I do think I am going to stick with what I already have out, because I think I have enough. I think this looks great. I only have 1 yellow, because I only have 1 yellow. Uh-oh. And even if they're not completely straight, I think that that kind of is just gonna really add to this. That's 2. I'm only doing 2 rows of each one. I guess if I could potentially use this tissue paper for something too. I was gonna do it on the tissue paper, and then I was thinking and adhere it over this map paper that I have, but these are water soluble, and I wouldn't be able to add the tissue paper without running all of this, and I just didn't think it was going to work. And I think that like this color in particular shows up a lot better on this than it does on here. This color's okay. I'm gonna keep this kind of simple today. In the interest of keeping things simple, the lightest green I have is what color? I'm trying to go like Roy G. Biv, so I guess this is the green. I suppose you can test this. I can get a different green. I have another green. I could get up and get something else if I decide this is too dark, which I might. And I might just go with it. So that's like yellow, and then the green. Oh, it's a big jump. It's a big jump. Okay. I could stamp it off and have it be faint. I really don't like that idea for doing this every time. But, you know, hey, we're not lazy around here. We can make this work. So that was another way. If you don't have quite as many colors and you want to do a color gradient, you could stamp it off and do it that way too. So that would be another way to do this. Can you guys see this? I feel like my camera's a little bit not very focused. Oh, I did the wrong thing. That's okay. Can you even read that? Not really. It really is actually legible. So sorry about that. I had the camera not on the right setting, and that should be so much better. Thank you for joining me. I actually can do this. So yeah, I don't know what I was saying before I had camera problems. I had to go and reset that. I have the two cats here today. You can't see Berticroot. He is sleeping. He is featured in at least one other video. He's a pretty chill guy. And you have seen Nova Emberwild kind of bebopping around. I think I'm going to be making a cat journal next year. As one does, I bought some cat ephemera packs for whimsical cats. I should make some. Anyway, I'm getting ideas for making all these journals all of a sudden. But I'm also just kind of all over the place. So I'm just still trying to figure out what exactly it is that I'm doing. So this is coming along and I am almost done. And I really love this. This is really a cool idea. I'll probably use this again, I would imagine. And so this will be Ticket, and I think I'm just going to pull out my sticker book once again and try and find something travel related or possibly Paris related, since this Ticket says Paris on it. What colors do we have left? I have blue, and I think I have navy, and what do we think will go best with this dark green? And I'm probably only gonna get a couple more, and I guess blue comes next, so I'm probably gonna go blue. And then darker blue is, I think, what I'm deciding here. And if you don't have a tiny ticket or a larger ticket stamp, you could do this with a stamp. You could probably do a technique like this with so many different things. That is blue, and this will be navy. And I'm just gonna find maybe something that will go on this, and pretty much anything I think can go color-wise. And yeah, it is early in the morning. I'm gonna have to get up and go get dressed and ready for work. Once I'm done with this, but I am super excited to have one of these done, and I will do the other one. Envelope, I'm gonna have to think about how to fit that in. I have in my head images of tiny envelopes that I've made, but I also have so many envelopes that I don't know. I want to maybe, I just had it in my mind that I kind of want a little bit of a frame on this. So I might build something of a frame just using some scraps or something around here. I'm sure I have some like cardstock or something that I can use to just build some sort of a structured frame for this so that it looks maybe like a photograph. Very abstractly a photograph. So let's see. And actually, you know, I was going to use this map. And I might use this to make the frame. I think that might work. I could either just cut the center out of this, right? And put that in and keep the center, which would be fun. Or, I mean, I was thinking I would just cut strips, but why not just do that if we're gonna do it? Let's cut this out in the center and make a frame. So I think I'm gonna do that. I think the best way to do that is to find my little ruler, which has gone missing again. So what I decided was probably the fastest and easiest way, rather than trying to mess around with measuring this out with my ruler, which I couldn't find, was to just use the paper cutter, which where did my ruler go? I don't like that I don't have my ruler for other reasons. I sometimes use that as a stamp thing. So yeah, it was super easy to cut this with my paper cutter. So I have a map frame. Very cool for this, and this should actually be a 1/2 inch all the way around, and that looks so much better. And I am, you know what, just not gonna worry about that. This is great. I love that, except for the fact that this looks so fat. I'm gonna measure this one more time and maybe cut this down just, I mean, this is a little bit bigger, so I can trim off just a bit. And I think this is just because this is so mappy and this is so grid map, that just looks like it's off, because it should be a 1/2 inch all the way around. How does that look? Any better? It looks a lot better. I cut off literally that much because it was it's supposed to be 4 inches. This other card is 4 inches. This one was like 4 and I don't know, a 1/16, or we'll call that an 1/8. Terrible measurements. I'm gonna find a sticker that that has some sort of a travel theme that will match this. And this is my antiquarian sticker book. I have used it many times, or one of its friends that are kind of the same thing. We'll just look and see if we can find anything that's sort of says, I think there's an Eiffel Tower in one of these books. I was also thinking, I have a Beatles stencil, and I'm thinking about doing a Beatles themed journal, like all Beatles. Could be fun. I'm in the mood to make more journals, apparently. Super, super excited. Okay. Traveling. Do you see anything? That guy looks like he's traveling. Okay. I think that's way too big for our card and not exactly what we wanted, right? Here's a map. We also have room on the back, so I'm just gonna throw that in. This could work. but that's, I think we can find something better. I think a Victorian lady with her luggage would be fabulous. Dogs. Don't know what all that is. I love this guy. Okay. Oh, look at frames. We asked for frames. I've already marked that as something. I kind of just like these dancing ladies. This would be fun for the front and the back of the card. Oh boy, yeah. I like that. I have this kitten who's sleeping on my desk and he has his ear up over. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm being really loud. She might be fun. I am be totally okay with just using like one of these ladies today. I also just kind of really want to get into drawing like whimsical girls. I like all these round things. Okay. I might have to break out another book if I'm not gonna pick anything. That, we've done that. And the mystery sticker. Butterflies. No travel in this guy. No traveling. No suitcases. Just hot air balloons. Those guys are way fancier than I want. My goodness. That could be fun for travel. I think she'd match my colors. I'm gonna use her. That's what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna use her. I'm gonna put her on inside and I'm just gonna put her in the middle of my frame. Okay. I like this. Okay. How does that look? We loving it? We are loving it. I'm gonna put my frame around her. How's that gonna look? She looks fabulous. Okay, I'm gonna put a, I am probably going to do something about the background here. I'm gonna put this circle like right in front of her. Also, that's gonna cover up where I kind of messed up this frame. Let me go ahead and ink this first, maybe? Okay, let's ink this first. This would be much easier to ink after I have put it together. So I'm just gonna ink the inside and then I'll ink the outside once I have put this in. Alright, so I'm gonna put this on, and then I'm going to, so I'll attach that. Okay. There we go. And I suppose if you wanted to, you could put a spacer kind of a thing in here. I have some foam squares that I could have put underneath here. I don't generally like to mess with them, but that would be kind of fun because I'm giving kind of a little bit more dimensionality. I'm kind of thinking I want to kind of go around her just to kind of make her feel like she's more part of this thing, and I need to find a color to do that, and I think I'm just gonna try, this is a white colored pencil. I almost kind of feel like she'd be better if she was like fussy cut it out a little bit. So you can see. I don't want to do anything too dark. That's kind of the thing. The white is not going to really show up on this light purple. Let's see. I guess we could try a brown. I always like to try these. Let's try it right there. That is a lot of background on this stamp. Which, if we're gonna like try and be very detail oriented, is going to bother us. Maybe that's just not the way to go. I don't know. So this is a water-soluble colored pencil, and I might try and blend this a little bit into this stamp background and make a little bit of a shadow around here as well. And I don't want to get these stamps too wet, these tickets, because you know, do that. If I get these tickets too wet, they're gonna bleed. Because these are water soluble, which, I don't know, we spent so much time and effort, I think, making them look the way that they look. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's be brave. We're brave. We are brave. Well, we're washing away all of our pencil. We are washing away, we'll test in this corner too. Okay, so the stamps are staying pretty in place so far. We're not seeing a lot of movement on that. We're also not seeing a whole lot of blending out of this pencil. Or if we are seeing blending in this pencil, it's, I don't know if it's gonna stay once this dries. A little bit. A little bit. Well, some of these are bleeding more than others. I'll tell you that. That's okay. I think it's okay. I'm not squeezing this. This is water brushes. I'm usually pretty okay with just kind of like, you know, whatever happens, happens. I'm not too... This all is kind of an experiment. A great journaling experiment. For me. That's what mixed media means, is just kind of... So it is running a little bit. And I could kind of unify this by just going over the whole thing and seeing what will bleed and what won't. And the red is gonna bleed. It's not very wet. Anyway. Oh no, I've gotten it on her cheek. Okay. And the answer was immediately to blend it more on her cheek. Okay. A lot of work. I don't know. I feel better about it blending in, so it must blend a little bit better. Okay. So now I'm going to get that other sticker out. And I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go find, I think I can find some sort of a bird that I'll go up in this other corner to balance this out. So I'm going to go find something else to put up in that other corner. And then I'm going to finish the back, and I'm going to call this ticket. The other thing I could do is I could stamp some tickets and cut out and put over here. I just kind of lose her beautiful little foot. She is dancing on the world. I really like her shoes. For some reason, I just really love her shoes. So I'm kind of really thinking about putting this down here, actually, and then cutting this off. Okay. I'll put that there, and cut that off. I'm gonna find a bird that is flying into this frame. Maybe I should have done this first. I should be able to find some sort of a bird. There's bugs. A little kind of a bird, like something like that size. That would be perfect. I would take that. An owl? No, I want like something like this. Is that what I want? Maybe. Yeah, what you got. Now I'm not happy. I want something that looks like it's flying, is what I want. What the heck is going on with that? We could put little cherubs up there. I'm gonna get this bird. Okay, so this is the bird. The bird. Maybe I should put both the birds on here. There's another one flying that way. And we'll save the other bird. We're gonna save his companion, even though there should be matching and they should go on at the same time. What does a bird have to do with ticket? I don't know. You might see this bird while you're traveling. Okay, so that seems a little scary. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on these because these don't seem to be super sticky here today. She went down. I think she's lying. This is definitely gonna need some extra something. Okay. Okay, let's cut that off. Oh my gosh, I'm covered in ink. I told you that wasn't sticking. I told you it wasn't gonna work. Okay. And I don't think I actually even tried to stick that down. These little bits are gonna be garbage. I will put them in the trash as soon as I find out where I've put the trash. I'm just gonna stick this sticker on here. I don't always use the sticker books, but I'm having a really good time using the sticker books. Okay. I don't want to look like this bird is flying right at her head. Dive bombing her head. I don't want that. Okay. Okay. And there we go. I am going to get up and I'm going to do something on the back of this. And I'm going to ink around the edges. And I could keep going and I could make like a whole little collage around the edge of this. I'm going to work on the back and then I'm going to come back and look at the front after I've had a bit of a break and decide if that's as much as I would like on this, if that's okay with me or if I want to do more. But first, let's turn this over and I'm going to show you what's going on. So these two are having a little sleep. This is Nova Emberwild, of course, and Bertacroot, who is about 7 months old, I think. And November Wild, I'm not really sure how old she is, honestly. She just kind of came flying over the fence one day and adopted us. Birdie! Hello, Birdie, what did you hear? I am looking for some paper to decorate the back of my card. What do we need? We need something we can write on, something that's going to kind of match this. How about yellow? I'm gonna do yellow because I think I want to. I want to do yellow. Alright, I have a sheet of yellow paper. I'm gonna cut this down. I'm just gonna cut this down and let you guys look at the cats. Alright, I hope you have enjoyed the cats. They're gonna fight now. Little girl, you had best be very good to Bertcroot. He's minding his own business. They're actually really good friends. Oh hey. So I'm gonna put you back. Nova Emberwild has left the art studio. So I cut out just this piece of yellow paper because I was feeling in a yellow mood, which I feel like is unusual for me, but there it is. And I have been having a challenging morning, I want you to know, but I feel better now that I've actually gotten to sit down and focus on something. And get something done. And I'm gonna call this card fairly well done. I do think that sitting down and being creative is such, it's just, it changes my mood and my thought patterns, and sometimes it's kind of a bit of a challenge to get there. And that is frustrating. I think that, like, I mean, creative endeavors are just so important to maintaining just all kinds of important balances. I did not get that right on the edge of there. And that's okay. I think is what I am going to do here is I think I'm going to go ahead and sand the edges of this, because you can see I kind of got it off, but I really think that I went a little overboard on making this very angular. So I'm going to grab my sanding block and I'm just going to sand that right off. Kind of see if I can make the edge of this a little more just pleasing and nice to touch. We will go ahead. I would have never thought I'd be sanding paper card. Who would have thought? Yet here I am. Okay. Let's clean up that mess right quick. I did want to add we have all this. Right? I think we should add, let's tear a piece of this off, and it can just be a rough edge. How does that look if we make a little bit of a border out of that? It gives it a little bit of a torn edge. You can still write on this card. But that'll give that kind of a little something extra. I can decide if I want it on the right side or the left side. And hanging off, or I might do it so it's kind of hanging off a little bit. Get all the paper dust off there. And it's okay that it's kind of like jumbled at the top, kind of very random. It kind of looks like these things are falling into the chaos. That's how I feel like my morning went. Okay. Before I came here. Then I came here, and now everything's pretty much nicer. I think I was using this, wasn't I, as like a, just to catch all my drips. This is my scratch paper here today. I'm just gonna glue this on with a glue stick. This is just tissue paper. I had thought about doing this on tissue paper, but I had some reservations about doing it because I wasn't sure how I was going to go ahead and adhere this to my paper as I'm just doing it. And I was going to do this and put it over the map. Which, you know, that might be kind of cool. Let's just go ahead and do that. Why not? Do we like it? Do we want that? I think so. I'm gonna cut that off, but I'm gonna leave it at the top. Just a little bit hanging over. Okay, there's all that. We still need to ink this, and that's going to make this look a little bit more cohesive. I do actually like that a little bit. Since I was saying I wanted to see what this would look like and not to waste anything, I still have this piece of map, and this is the center, remember, of this other card that I was going to use, but I wound up not using it. But I think I'm gonna try this just kind of as an aside to see what this looks like on this card. And I suppose probably the easier thing here is to cover this in glue, right? And then adhere the tissue paper to that instead of the other way around, while trying to not get glue stick all over my desk, since I'm now using my tissue paper, which was my... Anyway, you hear what I'm saying, right? Anyway, I think this could be kind of cool. Kind of cool, kind of cool, kind of cool. Maybe put this corner down first. I'm just trying to get as much of this stamped imaging on here as possible and leave off where like I have this whole bit over here where I didn't stamp. Did I get enough in the corners? Probably not, because I was busy trying to not go over the edges. Right? Glue, for heaven's sake. Okay, so that's kind of fun, isn't it? Okay, because you can see the map underneath. Yeah, I have layers. So we like that. I don't know what we're going to use this for. That's kind of a problem with us around here, is now I have this card and I don't know what I'm going to use it for. But I was just saying, wasn't I, that I wanted to make a whole bunch of different ephemera out of all of these different prompts that I'm doing. Not just 50 stack, but kind of as many as you can stack. Matching stack? I don't know. Enough to do a journal. I have noticed that I think that that's kind of a successful way to do a journal and prompts, is to combine things. So, I'm trying to use up my scraps as I go along. And not just be necessarily making new scraps of stuff. I go into my scrap pile. My scraps have gotten, my whole room's just kind of gotten a little bit out of control. It's very frustrating. So, I'm going to try and use all of these little postage stamps up on this tissue paper so that I'm not thinking, oh, hey, I should keep this. Tickets. This could make a fun little tag, I think. I think it could. I think it could. Right? Now we've cleaned up. Like, we could use this, but I think it's okay to just say pass. Passport. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this ticket. I have some extra things. There's this vintage photo. I'm gonna just ink these edges. Thank you so much to everybody who likes and subscribes to my channel. I want to say thank you very, very much to Amy, first of all, for coming and commenting. She leaves a really nice comments on my channel. She is the host, of course. And to everybody who has been so supportive, I'm gonna say to Lala Gamma, fantastic. Thank you so much for watching and commenting. To Susan at Susan Gazaway. I just thank you so much for watching and for commenting, and it means the world to me that you do that, and on so many of my videos. And to Lori June at Sarcastically 60 something, who also watches a lot of my videos and comments all the time. I just greatly appreciate all of your support, and thank you so much for that. I know that you have a lot of options on who you watch, and thank you for watching and commenting as I'm trying to build my channel. And I think this still needs another sticker, and I think it would really get a little bit of inking on here. Is great, is great, is great. Okay. Okay, so there is all of that. I do think this needs another stamp on here, another sticker. I was going to put stamps on there. I was going to stamp a couple more stamps and cut them out, but since we have this, I love how this is kind of tied this to this, and I love how this looks on the deli paper, and as well as like layered over this, and I just think that's so cool. I'm going to save this for another piece of ephemera that will kind of match this card, and they could go together in a journal. I'm just going to stick down there, aren't you? Aren't you, please? I know this card is a little, it could use a little bit more of something something, but I'm going to call it done. I do really think that this worked really well. Little I do think this was the way to go. This is what I was going to do in the first place, and I didn't do it. I overthought it. I'm going to put a sticker on this.
Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna leave this be. That is my card for Ticket. And I went ahead and used up my scraps and made this, which will become something or other. Should we do something with this right now? I am not feeling it. Well, for right now, I'm gonna go get cleaned up and go to work, but I will be back to do envelope next, maybe tomorrow morning, and then I can get this posted. I'm not going to be able to post this until next week, so this is going to be like about a week late, but that's okay. Yeah, I can post this on Tuesday next week, so it'll be like a week and a day late. So that's basically caught up for all intents and purposes. I'm gonna add this to my stack. That's exciting. All right, and I love the back. I love this. I love how this came out. It's very simple, but I like it a lot. So that was fun. And that can go in like that.